A minor variation. Chapter 20. A variant season. On display. By Not Murphy. Charlie watched her students, chest swelled with pride. The old wooden stage, battered but well cared for, always called up memories of her fillyhood. More years ago than she cared to count. Thank you very much! Despite the unusual circumstances of the performance, the great and powerful Trixie seemed to have fascinated many of the folks in her class, especially two colts on stage. "Hey, Snaps!" the taller colt said, grinning from ear to ear behind a table covered in purple cloth. "Yes, Snails?" The shorter colt was several places away from the table, taking one more as the audience watched. "Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat!" "Again?" Another step back. The green-haired unicorn reached into the top hat, tongue partly out of his mouth as he concentrated. What the gangly coat pulled from the top hat was not a bunny, not a rodent of any kind. It looked like a lion's head, snarled like a lion. Before Snips panicked, it pushed it back into the hat. Snails removed his shoes from his head, got back up, and looked out to the audience. Waggling his eyebrows, he said, "And now for something we hope you'll really like." The curtains closed. The audience laughed, uncertain. Okay. To whoever got that reference, bravo! Behind the scenes, the two colts sputtered in confusion. The stallion from the stage crew began uttering amongst days. "Hey! We had a bit after that!" Snails cried. "Sorry, kid. You were 5 minutes over time as it was." The curtains swung open. 3 fillies, orange, white, and yellow, stood on a small platform, wearing a red cape of golden lining. Light shone down, illuminating the scene. Casting light reflected into the broad sheet of blue fabric behind him, creaking on its roller. The cloth shifted left to right in a loop. Felt cutouts of clouds above and hills scrolled by. A hissing scratch came from backstage as the record started. Haunting guitar tones with an echo began to play as the trio looked out over the audience at something distant. Then they began to sing. "We have swum legs of mountains. We have climbed the tallest hills, trying to find ourselves, trying to find our marks." 3 flags unfurled from the ceiling. One orange, one white, one pale yellow. Nothing else adorned them. "We have run, we have crawled, we once scaled a 3-story wall. It was 3 stories tall, trying to find our marks." A papier-mâché sun swung into view. "But we still haven't found our cutie marks. We still haven't earned our cutie marks." Poles with felt leaves tilted into view from the sides. Creaking slightly, the ground cover became dark and green, with larger leaves stuck on haphazardly. "We once built a newspaper ship, steady Satsu with hoof tips, with pull oil zero fires, but now a burning desire. We've been poked and nearly strangled, learned the zebra isn't evil, and that she's pretty nice, though she lives in a weird home." The sun swung off the stage, replaced by a cutie crescent moon. The branches shifted back out of view, and the background rolled around to blue. "But we still haven't found our cutie marks. Now we still haven't earned our cutie marks." The sun swung back into view, sharing the upper space with the moon. The 3 flags curled up as a long strip of rainbow-striped fabric hung down below the astral props. "We believe in the moon and sun. When a rainbow holds all the colors, 6 become 1, and harmony comes, and yeah, we're still looking." The sun, moon, and rainbow all pulled out back out of view. The 3 flags dropped down, tied to one another by a corner each. We formed a bond, want to lose us from the shame. Our flanks are blank, born without shame. All the same, because we knew we'll always be there. The flags were pulled back up, and the felt images on the background disappeared, and the cloth stopped rolling. The lights dimmed. But we still haven't found our cutie marks. Yeah, we still haven't earned our cutie marks. But we still crusade for our cutie marks. But with the will we crusade for our cutie marks. You know, I just want to point out that the fact that the girls got their cutie marks before I decided to read this was a coincidence, really. It really was a coincidence. I totally did not know the girls were going to get their cutie marks, so, girls, what a great way to celebrate, huh? Tell me about it. I've always wanted to sing some Bruce Springsteen. I thought it was you, too. It's a combination of both. Oh! The lights came up, revealing the three fillies standing on stage, cloth pulled down. Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom moved slightly apart, revealing a purple and green dragon who took a battle to Crusaders before all four ran off stage. No, girls, still blank. Ow! Dearest friends, Tia has just told me the most wondrous news. We shall soon be making a tour of the surrounding territories, and I might be introduced to my subjects and they to me. While it certainly does my heart good to know my sister feels I have made enough progress for such an outing, the last stop on our tour leaves me quite well pleased. Yes, we shall make a stop at Fair Ponyville, and we will have enough time aside from my usual official presentation that I'll be able to see all of you in pony, as it were, and simply not in spirit as before. Recent military activities have died there. Sally has seen fit to explain why we have had the royal troops perform military exercises at various remote locations all across our borders. I expected to be some show of our capabilities, although she has discouraged me from this reasoning. Which brings me to your last correspondence and your tale of impromptu diplomacy. I wish to ask for clarification. From one sentence to the two you referred to a fight breaking out between the people of Ayapalusa and the Bisonic tribe. I immediately began describing what was clearly a food fight and some extreme roughhousing. Did you switch accounts? Perhaps skip a scene? Were you concerned that descriptions of the true carnage would offend my sensibilities? Somehow I doubt this, because I fear I know you well enough to hope you would not condescend to me. Also because the resolution involved one of the pies described, which would have no place on a true battlefield, modern warfare confuses me, and my sister's attempt to explain seemed to end with one or the other of us laughing inappropriately. Also, who is this Bloomberg? I find it hard to chance to meet with my niece. Cadence is a good sort. I fear we shall become good friends, though she seems a mite melancholy just now. I am certain it shall not have a long hold over her, though. I sense a determination in her worthy of an Alicorn. They reared to move mountains. Much like 6 other ponies one could name. I digress. Allow me to reiterate my statement that I look forward fondly to our coming opportunities to see and speak with one another once again, my friends. In friendship and in trust, Princess Luna Nocturne Equestria.
Alright, I'm here. You have 3 days of the time limit I gave you. We've already the planning stage is of another design I had on reserve.
The dark gray stallion didn't sound entirely confident, which is all Rainbow Dash needed. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out here. I sort of call a couple of Wonderbolts out here, too. At the same time, not about the suit or anything. Sorry I lost track of that. You didn't deserve that, which is why I asked you to come. But you might as well tear up your other contract. After you see this, there won't be any questions about what suit the bolts will be using. She was excited, hopeful, nervous, and a little in awe. Please don't think I'm going behind your back. I'm telling you the truth. It's bigger than some costume now. The Wonderbolts are the best bet for lending this project capability. I wouldn't have believed any of this 2 weeks ago.
You have a reputation for honesty in your dealings, and a certain mad genius. That's why you're not in court right now. Let's see if my faith proves you valid.
That, trust me, this isn't anything like you've seen before. I only need you to trust me this one moment. This is going to be so awesome! Wait, did I run out of earplugs? The 5 Pegasi looked at each other. It had been a week of grueling exercises. Repeated practice of individual steps that had them tearing at their manes for how all pointless it seemed. The dead drop portion had been the worst. Thunder Lane had sprained a wing in the second run-through. And though Rainbow Dash had paid for a healing maze to be on standby, an expense that boggled the mind, the pain of the experience almost convinced him to quit. And he would have if the captain hadn't been there with him. All that changed yesterday. They failed the first time. It was a miracle no pony was injured. But they had experienced a glimpse, some idea of what all their hours of effort and week of missed work were for. Smiles and grins all around. The sun was directly overhead, and it was time for the present. Time to knock every pony off their hooves. A white Pegasus with a blonde mane held Toity up.
Man, that was something, wasn't it?
Was what he assumed she said, because he couldn't hear a blessed thing at the moment. Rainbow Dash trotted up, holding his trademark glasses with her left wing. She presented them to him with an apologetic smile, eyebrows raising when she made eye contact. He managed to keep a straight face as he nodded once, slowly. After that, he couldn't help but smile, at least until a thought occurred to him. He tried telling her, but his seeing leap breeding was not among her talents. He reached to his saddlebags.
All very impressive. I have no idea what the practical uses will be, but...
He had to hold up a hoof to keep her from trying to explain what he was obviously very proud of.
However, why were the suits purple?
Even in the face of miracles, one had to keep their priorities. Rainbow ducked her head, grinning in embarrassment. She gestured, and he gave her the pencil. Yeah, it was the only color of the right material I had on hoof. The official version will be blue with yellow bolts motif. No messing with a classic. The fastened pony took his head into disbelief at the mare before him, remembering the last few minutes. The group had come in, diving from a great height, descent becoming steeper as they flew. The line seemed to scrunch up on itself, a snake becoming an arrow, and harder to track as they flew so fast, the air behind them became a white trail of a cloud. As they became close enough to be seen as individual Pegasi, the formation had begun pulling up again at an impossible angle, wasting precious time rolling over and back upright at the last moment. That moment, the world didn't seem to explode. A flash of blinding light that left rings of darkness spotting his vision. No time for what concerned to him was the loudest noise in existence! And he once personally observed DJ Pone 3's little toy. No, this noise had picked him up like a foal's doll and tossed him flat on the ground, shaking his entire body. There hadn't even been time to be terrified before it was over. It was a random chance he had seen one of the Pegasi from the performance disappearing into the distance. But that had been what he had seen. Rarity watched the bipedal figures run away. Socialite! She afforded herself the thought, because their cries and speed demonstrated that the explosion hadn't hurt them. Slade Spell's expression had lightened in distraction. You couldn't have possibly kept one, sister. What were they to sleep? Hey, Mary, what was that just now? The unicorn filly asked, looking around. I think it was the other reason I had a bone to pick with those diamond dogs. Still think you could have let me catch one, the younger simply grumbled, not entirely distracted. Nevertheless, mother tells you it's okay, what she would never do. So, why does a random explosion make you mad? Sleepbell knew her sister didn't like noise, but still. There was nothing random about that, sweetie. Unless something has gone horribly wrong, that was the weather team. Are you sure? It didn't sound like thunder, unless it was all the thunder in the world. It sounded like how you described the cloud. The younger Bell's child went wide as her mind caught up with her mouth. Rarity smiled at her sister. Pride. Clever girl. Yes, that was another cloud boom, set off on purpose this time. Although I think Daz called it a sonic cloud boom or some such. There's something a little different. And hopefully involving far less broken glass this time. Sweetie Belle considered all this. A darker thought occurred to her. Mary, your friends. They didn't figure out how to do this as a weapon, right? Of course he had. They were heroes, right? O's Rarity tempted to laugh. Well, look at her sister's face killed the impulse. No, sweetie. No pony would ever use this as a means to hurt any pony. It would be too horrible to even consider. The Pegasi who did this ended up traveling very fast, much faster than he could ever normally hope to fly. This is a means of high-speed transport. It cannot be used as a weapon because it needs two ponies to do. From what I understood of Rainbow's explanation, and what two ponies would agree to do something so mean? Her explanation was starting to sound less believable to her own ears. Thankfully, they seemed to have swallowed Sweetie Belle's fears. She was spared from further musing as she reached her friends and other witnesses to the event. The ponies took out earplugs Rainbow Dash had issued, along with instructions, and a stern admonishment to use the marshmallow-looking things. Rainbow brought the last arrival back to the group as Rarity arrived with her sister. Jackie was still grinning ear to ear. I'm not even going to bother saying I've seen everything now. Whatever I do, well, these girls comes up with something even crazier. The others seemed to have a similar thought. Pulling out the second earplug out, Spitfire took an appraising glance at the sign Pegasus. So, what happens now? Rainbow grinned. Now we wait for Fluttershy and her crew to make it back here. After that, you learn how to do a Sonic Cloud Boom. After this, you take this to the princesses, and history happens. Chapter 21. The Fairy in Season Horse Feathers. The assault was relentless. Conflicting orders to advance and retreat increased the confusion. Dim light punctuated by flashing flashes. The pop punctuated by screams and flinching ponies. She was trapped. Her every instinct called for her to fight, but her devotion to her friend demanded she remain face down this horror. An agonized voice called out, No! How's it come down to this? Fluttershy faced down thunderstorms, led on assault on Rogue Monsoon, and singularly hopefully convinced the drowsing dragon not to nap near Ponyville. The incandescent flashing on the camera was worse than any of those challenges now. She stood up and flared her wings. No! Called out the director. Irritated, she hung her head back, wing pulsing fulgence. Yes! Her head whipped up as she glared at the photographer. No! The flash made her flinch. Yes! In the background, Rainbow Dash struggled between wanting to fall over laughing and desire to trounce the announcer's photographer. The problem sorted itself quickly, and Fluttershy leapt from the platform, landing in front of the photo finisher. Lady, what is your malfunction? This is a suit for the new uniform for the Wonderbolts. Who the fuck is going to want a bunch of photo shots of me cowering? Photo finish was not one to be crowned by a cranky model. The photo shots where we cut thematics. Fluttershy backed up. That's not communicable, is it? In the back, Dash fell over. Get back on these stage, Miss Fluttershy. I am in the zone. If you think I'm going to be pushed around, half blinded and humiliated, while you ruined my friend's release pictures, you've got another thing coming, ma'am. Photo's crew shivered like the temperature had just dropped 10 degrees. Ugh! Such passion! Such fury! Porque we try it your way. Phyllis waved her hoof, restraining a grin. Naturals like this didn't come along more than once in a lifetime. And she, photo finish, had discovered this one. You know, I just realized that this is probably the first time in the 2 years I've done this show to do photo finish. How is that possible? What exactly is this self we speak of? If I list out the things that I do and don't do, but I believe it tells not to, in my prefaces and prejudices how I describe myself, am I a collection of facts and statistics? On the other hand, am I some numerous quantity, some identifiable element of animation barely within the ken of the royal sisters? And if that be the case, then what point is there to be the identity at all? It's simply to be able to postulate I am, and all that is important. Round and round the questions ran, rational or spiritual, flesh or magic. Surely something in between was more reasonable. But where? No answer satisfied. Nothing was so outright ridiculous as to be eliminated, other than the non-sequiturs offered by Pink.
And what is that? Surely it is a part of me, even possessing qualities I am jealous of. But it's so alien to me. I fear being swallowed whole or twisted into a definition of being what is not pink and what is simply a proof in the negative. This is a neat quandary you got going, but shouldn't you be looking on the more practical side?
Diane felt her sanity crack.
If you begin making more sense than I, then truly all hope is lost. That's a great and terrible thing, but really, why are you hanging out in a dragon's cave? Why are we in a dragon's cave?
Well, I don't know. I could claim it, but the real estate really leaves something to be desired. But if you like it, then I... Spike was lost in thought, idly chewing on an amethyst from a miraculous pile of gems laid out in the middle of his spacious cavern. At first, he'd been confused. This wasn't like anything from the half-remembered geology lessons his mom rarely made him learn in his old life. But it was really hard to argue with a delicious terrain, and he was done with ponies. Well, all but one, but there was time to consider that later.
There's something in the water. Why does no pony ever continue paying attention to the here and now? Yogi Spike, attend!
Diana was becoming frantic, existentialism banished by survival concerns. Young Dragon picked himself off the ground. Okay, I'm here. Yeesh, you didn't have to yell. I'm pretty sure you and I are the only ones, Big. An instant confusion at the seemingly added remark led to sinking stomach, shivering back, and wobbling knees.
Okay, I don't know that combo. Got any ideas? It was not one of your piggy sense events. I realize he is looking at the dragon!
As he watched, Spike shifted from terror to defensive posture. Diane mentally faced off.
Why is he trying to be brave and what is likely to face some insurmountable odds? Duh, 'cause he likes you, silly! Not this again. The matter was settled some time ago. We had a conversation. I explained my own limitations, and since then we have had a decent sort of friendship. Yeah, then you agreed to run away with him. Do you have any idea how far OOC you're putting me? As always, you speak in non-time to move!
Diane leaned forward, grabbing her would-be protector in her hooves, rolling around in an outcropping of a treasure pile, her hide feeling defeat of the barely avoided dragon fire.
Interlopers! You have invaded my home, bring the stench of horse flesh, and devoured my hoard. I will see you dead for this honor!
It was an honest mistake. We mean you no harm.
Diane called for the cover, inching away from the monster emerald beast. Spike found his voice. Would it help if I said I was sorry?
Your words mean nothing, hatchling. For an apology, you may step forward and face death with honor.
Diane made a quick decision. She turned to her compatriot, nodded, just so for to get up. Walking back out into plain view was not what the larger dragon had expected of the two. It held out the fiery death that had been promised for a moment. Amusement was too far rare of a gem to throw away out of claw.
Your bravery draws you credit. Perhaps if your sense of courtesy or common sense had been his equal, you would have lived to see the end of this day. Contemplate such errors in your next life.
Diane bent on her front knees in a bow.
Great dragon, our ignorance of your territory can only be the consequence of your cleverness and secrecy. We beseech you to allow us to repay the treasures that have been taken from your hoard by tenfold. We will also include a payment for our unknowing trespass upon your home, as a token of our good faith. I will remain here as my companion requires a recompense. Does this offer please you?
I have no reason to trust a dragon without knowledge of basic courtesy. You serve no value to me as a hostage if the hatchling runs to your solar queen. No, you will go, and the dragon you will stay.
The moment of temptation was slapped away as quickly as it occurred to Diane.
I'm afraid I must say nay to your demand, O powerful servant. I will repeat my offer. You may know that news of these events will not pass beyond more than 5 ponies, none of them involved in our government. Please, I beg you to accept our offer.
The dragon's eyes narrowed.
And if I refuse?
Then you will gain nothing. Either way, my dragon leaves here alive.
Then nothing is exactly the value your lives have to me.
All amusement was one thing. Disrespect and food thinking it could dictate terms was another entirely. The dragon let loose a gale of fire, anger at having been to burn some of its own treasure, to destroy the earth lovers, feeling the flame even harder.
Pigness, lend me your strength. Whatever the price, I will not see young Spike pay for my arrogance. Seriously? You're asking me for help? That's super fantabulous! All I want for you to do is smile a little more. You know, like at all. Are you sure there is a side to this I am not seeing? I have little choice as of yet. You want a smile? I will give you a smile.
Diane inhaled, rising from her last somersault to lift Spike up off his feet and raise him above her head, holding the terrified dragon by hoof, loud laughter filling her throat. As the dragon drew in breath, she stood on her hind legs, reaching back with the leg holding Spike, and pointing her other forehoof at the exit of the cave. Dragon, seeing an obvious ploy, snaked his head about to intercept the throw as it began exhaling. Diane? What are you? Whoa! No, 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 no! Spike screamed as he thrown through the air, arcing to the right of the dragon who had just to the left. Diane galloped toward the left wall of the cave, tracking the fire terrain in front of her in a ballistic baby dragon. When she ran out of floor, she began running up the wall, tongues of flame chasing her far too closely for comfort. As traction began to give out, she pushed off the wall with all her strength, jackknifing over the deadly stream as it gave out. She had no time to recover as she landed, leaping a low pile of molten gems and treasure to reach Spike on his downward arc, pushing him upward with the inner part of both forelegs like a volleyball. She slid to avoid the dragon's sharp claws as it sought to cut both pony and dragon to ribbons. Throwing herself off the floor, she jumped over the other claws as he raked the ground, turning over in midair to use her back legs to propel the hatchling toward a large and hopefully soft pile of intact treasure. Spike's continuing shout changed its pitch into a scream as he dove headfirst toward the mound. Diane only realized she was still cackling when the dragon began to roar in fury, stepping further into the cave to bring itself closer to increase its efforts to kill her. What struck her as the most hilarious thing ever. Frustration, fury, and fear roiled within the dragon's heart as the prancing pink pony performed perambulous, perplexing, and practically impossible. Phew! The earth's shriek of her laughter was wearing thin nerves frayed by the entire encounter. A hatchling shot past, out of the cavern. The bouncing baby bored by the blunt force flew faster than the dragon was prepared to react. My gosh, there's a lot of alliteration in this story! Confound the pony. The dragon shook its head to exercise the accursed alliteration accompanying its roar of fury doubled in volume. Taking not even a moment to breathe in, Diane reached out of the cavern as the dragon threw a tantrum. Spike was picking himself off the ground. Her huffing breath reduced the mad crackling to straining chuckles. Was died when the dear diminutive dragon saw her and flinched.
Please, fence Spike. Us were few and I had to get you out of harm's way. I fear I did more harm to your dignity than to your person. Although, once we are far enough away, and to be safe, I will check the layer.
The sound of fury and wrath was getting louder. At a rate that suggested pursuit, not increased for volume. Diane raised herself back up, and collapsed as she tried to take another step.
Ah, so I do have limits. This seems to be a poor way to learn them.
She managed a half-hearted chuckle.
Daddy, come on! We gotta get out of here!
Spike tugged at her head, glancing back the way that it came in fear, the spoke of anticipation, and not abject terror.
I have expended far too much energy to move, Spike. You must flee on your own from here.
Look, I realize you're new to humor, but that wasn't fucking funny! Get up! Also, it's Spike!
Ask me to raise the solar orb. I am as likely to comply. No, that didn't produce a laugh either. Go!
Tears were forming in the corners of his eyes as Spike looked down at the pony.
I can't leave you here!
My efforts were entirely in vain if you die here. Are you going to force me to call you names, insult you, otherwise drive you away? I'd rather not have those be the last memories a friend had of me.
Who? You!
Diane snapped, exasperated.
What?
Who? Ooh! Evan Costello! That's a classic! To the mustard routine! Why would an owl fly towards...
The pink pony pondered. The dragon burst through the undergrowth, fire falling in its wake. It caught sight of its prey. It was suddenly blinded when a nocturnal raptor struck its eyes. Falling back with a roar, the dragon began launching flames into the sky, clutching its face with one hand and sliding blindly with the other. It stumbled forward. Perhaps we could courtesy or curse interlopers by random chance. Before fire or foot could harm the two escapees, they were pulled aloft by shimmering fields of blue magic. Trees, rocks, large chunks of dirt were also held aloft by a blue aura. Are you alright? Verity asked, exhaustion evident. Mama! The quorum and personal pride disappeared in face of rescue. Shh, baby, nothing will harm you now. You just rest, Verity whispered. Diane heard the iron behind the words. Aloysius, come! We're done here! The bird turned away and dove away from the flailing, furious dragon with a final whoo, whoo!
Interlopers, defy my territory and suffer the same fate as those two!
The dragon roared, vision finally returning. Another obnoxious horse. No, unicorn. Magic was a source of inconvenience for the dragon, whose scales would deflect the most magical assault, but not prevent the manipulation of... That was an awful lot of the tree floating around, glowing blue. A tree struck the dragon, bruising it. Rocks hurled with intense force checked its progress. Time for a stream of fire too. The dragon nearly choked on a pony-sized bolt of earth that flew down its throat. You get 1 chance to leave with your life, lizard. No creature threatens my son. Son! She was getting more inaccurate with the bombardments. Verity set Diane down as gently as she could, depositing heat spike on her back. After her concentration wasn't diverted, she started using some of her real potential. The ground shook as she pulled up a small hill's worth of earth. Now, shall we continue this discussion? I estimate I could only manipulate about 2 objects this size. How many could you survive being pummeled with, do you think? Enough was too much. The dragon turned and leapt into the sky. In a bright purple flash, Twilight arrived, looking at the group. She nodded as the owl flew in and landed next to Rarity. Tree branches nearby bent and surrounded the 3 ponies, Dragon, and Raptor. A deep green flash and branches swung their way back to their normal positions, revealing no pony where they had covered. Sister, I have to say I am disturbed at your behavior. If this is what 1,000 years of governance lead to, perhaps I should consider abdication. The dark blue unicorn stomped in frustration. Lulu, stop being melodramatic. We were watching the whole time. You know we can't hold our hosts forever. In fact, soon we won't be able to do anything for them. It's fortunate they feel a connection to you. Celestia took a moment to collect herself. I'm glad you have such good friends so soon after your return. Of course, you want the best for them and keep them from harm. But if we protect them now, when the consequences are really light, well, it will not be a kindness in the long run. You know what's coming. What it will cost them. Luna pressed against her sister, nuzzling her mane. Of course you are right. And you'll have each other to cling to. If they can avoid our mistakes, I'm sure they will come through. I cannot help but fear the worst, however, in imagining catastrophe. Something occurred to the Moon Princess, and glared at her sister. On another matter entirely, Tia, why do you continue to indulge that infernal bird of yours? Celestia smiled maniacally. Consider filming another test of sorts. Ponies who cannot bend will break. The kindest ones are those who learn to accept their anger as well. You will have some loosening up to do, or you're going to be a terror on Nightmare Night next year. Although I suppose that might not be a bad thing. Many expressions crossed Luna's face. To think that there is a holiday to celebrate tonight, yet it is a supplication to my worst aspect. I'm not certain how I feel about such. She considered the matter. Sister, do you think it would be appropriate for me to observe my first Nightmare Night in Ponyville? I think that would be an excellent idea, Celestia nodded. You don't think me silly for making plans in the future we don't know for certain we will see. Planning for tomorrow is the only way mortals can keep moving forward. You doing so is an excellent sign. Well, I have enough watching from a distance. Are there any more details to oversee for the gala? No, for a kindness there aren't. Celestia winced, anticipating a night so boring she would. Wait, didn't Blue What invite? A smile returned to the Sun Princess's lips. Perhaps there is some planning to be done after all, my sister. Oh, wonderful. A delicate ball is such a nice. Luna caught sight of her sister's grin. Sister, what are you planning to do?
Me? Luna? Not a single solitary thing. Bing!
Do not address me by that name. I am a grown man. Luna stopped her hose to demonstrate how big she was.
You will always be my adorable baby sister,
The Solar Princess said, both fondness and mockery in her voice. Luna's cheeks flushed. I will not allow you to distract me from your devious plots. What do you intend?
I'm not going to do anything. I just want to give our 6 heroines the chance to experience the best night ever.
It'd be less of a statement if you stopped smiling, I thought. Luna frowned. Celestia's grin turned into a leer.
Is this better?
The Luna Princess rolled her eyes. Now at least I understand where you acquired your nicknames from. Diane awoke, tired, bruised, and feeling as though she hadn't run on all the marathons. She tilted her head, and then shook it vigorously. She felt as she had run a great many marathons back to back.
Better?
She was lying on a pile of pillows, surrounded by shelves of books. Was meant the library. Cliff Clopping came behind her, signaling an approaching pony. She rolled over, growing to see Rarity come up to her. A grim expression on the unicorn's face.
You Spike informed me of the events yesterday. I am disappointed in his behavior, but I'm afraid I could see where he acquired his misapprehension from. You, however, she is so upset she cannot even frame words. Never expected to see her in such a state, let alone be the subject. Well, I deserve her ire. I did nothing to stop Spike from his escapade.
Diane relaxed herself, to accept the inevitable.
Truly, there are no words for what you have done.
Verity paused to gather her breath.
Thank you.
Diane's eyes snapped open again.
After the Phoenix incident, we were all afraid you were upset with us. But when Spike wanted to run away, you followed him, kept him company, gave him an ear for his concerns, and you kept him safe. I cannot properly express how much that means to me.
She was crying. Rarity almost never cried. Fluttershy cried more often than Rarity did, for Celestia's sake.
I did not deserve things. I cannot let him leave alone. Once I realized his determination, and I
heard that stone Was she? Rarity was hugging Diane. Diane gave her a heart-fluttering nestle.
You not see what I'm confessing? I went with Spike because I wanted to get away from all of you. I don't deserve thanks for your disloyalty. Hey! Skip the pity fest for a minute. This isn't about you. Imagine your kid nearly got eaten by a dragon. You'd be freaked out too, wouldn't you? I do not have a child. I have no idea. Horse apples, you've got enough empathy for 3 ponies. Stop thinking about your personal guilt and think about what she needs to give. Forgiveness is for the victim. This is still abnormal behavior for you. Sometimes, to smile again, you had to get through the tears.
Swallowing her feelings, Diane considered what her friend must have been experiencing. She raised her 4 legs out to return the hug. Eventually it ended. Rarity stood back up, smiling as she wiped the last of her tears away.
I know you don't think you did anything special. And this is another reason I love you. If I ever figure out what I deserve to friends like you and the others, I'll have to keep doing it. So you see, Spiky, my number 2 assistant doesn't threaten your position. And even if I have never asked you to help me with my work ever again, you would still be precious to me.
I'm sorry, with the book and...
You know anything you have to apologize for, he Spike. It's about a problematic job you did trying to frame Aloysius. Honestly, if that's the extent of your forensic skill, then I failed you as a teacher. Besides, when damaging another's reputation, it's always better to go with implications you can describe disassociate yourself from. Think of that last part, dear.
Oh, horse feathers. And the one last time I should be taking notes.